Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, a new film set to be released next week has been promoted as a heartwarming story. But now many people are boycotting the movie after a video surfaced showing the mistreatment of a dog used in the film. ABC 7's Jacqueline Matter has local reaction to the story and what dog enthusiasts have to say. Jacqueline.
Yes, Scott, that video shows one of the dogs used in the movie being forced to enter choppy waters. And despite being visibly frightened, that German Shepherd continues to struggle to stay afloat as cameras keep rolling. TMZ first published the video, and they say a representative from the American Humane Organization, which oversees film production in the U.S. to ensure animal safety, was present when that incident took place. That representative has since been put on administrative leave, and the film's director was also present for the video. PETA immediately condemned the video and are now calling for people to avoid seeing that movie altogether. For animal lovers here on the Suncoast, they agree.
I would definitely boycott it. It's just, I think it's absolutely horrible. Don't make an animal do something they don't want to do. You know, he's petrified. You could see it in the video.
If you want to go in and see that movie, and when that scene comes up, you know what happened in the background, that's on you. That's your decision to do. I can tell you that I will not be buying a ticket.
Well, according to TMZ's report, that alleged incident took place in November of 2015. The actor who voices the dog in the movie, Josh Gad, in part said he is now asking for a full explanation of that disturbing video as an investigation remains ongoing. Back to you, Scott.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you. Also in South Florida, the Miami Zoo is mourning the loss of its 49-year-old gorilla. Josephine was euthanized yesterday. She was the grandmother to Harambe, the gorilla who gained worldwide attention last year when zookeepers at the Cincinnati Zoo shot him to protect a child that had fallen into its enclosure. Josephine was born in the wild in March of 1967 and arrived at the zoo in 1983. The zoo decided to euthanize her after her health started to take a rapid decline. At this time tomorrow, Donald Trump will become the 45th President of the United States. Chief Justice John Roberts will be swearing him in. Final inauguration preparations are taking place as supporters and protesters descend upon the nation's capital. ABC's Lana Zach has more.
President-elect Donald Trump's motorcade left New York en route to Washington and a new era in American politics.
There's a historic change coming, and it is infectious.
The transition team says Mr. Trump's 20-minute inauguration speech will set out his vision for unifying the country, but D.C. organizers are also expecting a record number of protesters, 400,000, one for every two supporters.
Brings me to Washington to witness the inauguration of a new commander-in-chief.
We have to send a message to the Trump administration that we will not put up with the threat that he is posing.
Among Democratic lawmakers, a record number, more than 60, say they will boycott the inauguration. But the highest profile Democrats, President Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, and even Mr. Trump's vanquished competitor Hillary Clinton and former President Bill Clinton will be on the platform.
The cooperation that the outgoing administration has extended in this transition effort would make every American proud.
And from America's first African-American First Lady, a reflection on her time at the White House as the Obamas prepare to say goodbye.
And while the swearing in takes place tomorrow, inauguration events have already begun here. Later today, the president-elect will lay a wreath at Arlington National Cemetery before attending a concert and some fireworks later tonight. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
After the inauguration, hundreds of demonstrations are expected to take place across the country this weekend. We spoke to some of your neighbors this morning to see if they'll be watching the inauguration tomorrow and their thoughts on those demonstrations.
Very excited.
Yes.
Wanting to see America great again. We feel like Trump had a lot of answers to a lot of the problems facing America, so we're looking forward to his presidency very much.
I kind of feel like I don't have much control, and I really feel like if I was to protest, I could possibly get arrested, and that's not a good idea.
I'll probably take a look at it and see how it goes. Hopefully no one's protesting too much. It is a free country. They can do what they want, but they should accept what's going on and not make too much of a big deal about it.
Live coverage of the inauguration starts tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. here on ABC 7. It will continue throughout the day until 4 p.m. and will preempt our noon newscast. Meanwhile, another group is galloping in for tomorrow's festivities in Washington. 15 horses from the Army's Old Guard in Arlington, Virginia, will be marching in tomorrow's inaugural parade. More than 700 pieces of brass will be shined, along with a good wash and brush, all before sunrise. The horses are called upon every 4 years, rain or shine, to perform their presidential duties. They usually have to be spook-proofed, so the massive crowds and loud noises will not scare them.
No.
That'll be a nice thing to see tomorrow, and I guess pretty good weather, a little warmer than you might expect this time of year.
Not so good weather on Friday.
Oh, really?
No.
I thought it was okay.
It'll be well above average in temperature, but it will be very rainy, I think, on Friday. Saturday, well, we'll get that complete inauguration forecast in just a few minutes. We have a special little graphic for it, actually. We are looking today, though, locally at some pretty nice weather, but you know what? Our weather could get a little squirrely around here over the weekend as well, and we're going to be talking about that. But today, nice clear skies, and that's kind of nice because we have a rocket launch going up this evening. Might want to watch for that at 7:46. That's when it's scheduled to take off this evening. So hopefully you'll be able to see the lights of that rocket go up over at the Cape. We're looking at some pretty decent weather around here this afternoon. A lot of sunshine, but boy, the Panhandle is bracing for some big storms. The same heavy weather that brought Dallas all the flooding rains is now moving into the Louisiana Delta region. It's one half of what could end up being some squirrely weather for Florida over the weekend. We'll look for a daytime high today of about 78 degrees, and then over the course of the next few days, the weather deteriorates. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. A Sarasota man found guilty of murder will be in court later today for sentencing. Christian Theodore was convicted last month of first-degree murder and home invasion with a deadly weapon for killing 25-year-old Jonathan Jeffrey. Investigators say Theodore and 2 other men broke into Jeffrey's home in late 2014. They tied him up with his wife and demanded drugs and money. Jeffrey was then shot in the head. The other 2 suspects accepted plea deals and have already been sentenced to life in prison. Theodore's sentencing is set for 2:30 this afternoon. A Palmetto woman is sentenced to prison for defrauding public assistance programs of thousands of dollars. Peggy Washington sentenced to 3 years in prison. She was convicted of identity theft, wire fraud, and making false statements to government agencies. Court documents show Washington stole personal information belonging to Social Security and Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program recipients, and then used the information to open debit card accounts in their name. She then diverted their benefits into her own accounts. Washington will now have to pay nearly $49,000 in restitution. And it looks like the city of Bradenton is getting louder. After all, the city council looking to adopt a new ordinance that will create 3 entertainment districts. The draft will include a part of 9th Street West, where Motorworks Brewery is located, as well as downtown and Old Main Street and the area around 9th Street East and Manatee Avenue. Those districts will allow for extended louder noise hours, particularly on Friday and Saturday nights. The city is still working on revising the ordinance. Time now to get over to the kitchen and check in with our good friend, the executive chef at Michael's on East in Sarasota, Jamil Pineda. And Jamil, great to have you back in our kitchen again. What are you fixing for us today?
Well, it's great to be here. We're doing a beautiful Penn-Sears cottage salmon. We're going to have a nice French-style braised red wine cabbage, some mushroom broth, some stone ground mustard glaze, so stay tuned.
We will. Thank you, Chef.
Thanks.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s. Don't miss the Luxury by the Bay event, Saturday, January 21st from noon till 4 p.m. at Harbor Isle. Water ski show, luxury cars, wine tasting, model home tours, and more.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee counties since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
Start the year off with a great deal during the Start Something New event going on now at Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Come shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers. Take home a new Jeep Cherokee for as little as $18,999. Or stop by today and drive away in a brand new Jeep Renegade for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
It may be January, but we live in Florida. So head outdoors for seafood and music at the 2nd Annual Sarasota Seafood and Music Festival, happening Saturday and Sunday, January 21st and 22nd from 10 to 6 p.m. Savor mouth-watering Florida Gulf Coast seafood dishes by top restaurants and chefs, while you enjoy great live music from some of Florida's top musical groups. So grab your family and friends at the Sarasota Seafood and Music Festival, January 21st and 22nd. For more information, visit seafoodfestivals.com.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Current conditions outside, a nice 75 degrees with a dew point of 57. Southwest wind coming in at about 8 under full sunshine out there. It's a big, beautiful blue sky with high pressure firmly in control of our weather patterns. We have across the region 79 degrees in Wauchula, 77 in Arcadia, Mayaca, 75 Lakewood Ranch. Parrish at 76, so's Bradenton. As I mentioned, Sarasota at 75. A little cooler at Longboat with that onshore breeze. So too in Venice at 72, 71 in Inglewood. 77 in Punta Gorda and 74 in Northport. They had a little bit of fog around there this morning. Could have some around there tomorrow morning as well. I think our dew points will be up into the 60s before it's all said and done today, especially with that little onshore flow of air. Well, as you look at the satellite view, obviously your eye is drawn immediately to that cluster of clouds back to the west. That's a cold front, and it's producing some very heavy rainfall across the Louisiana Delta region, wrapping up around a low-pressure area and moving off to the north and to the east. It's the same system that brought all the freezing rain to parts of the midsection of the country, now exiting out of the northeast. We also have a secondary system and a third system, not yet impacting the United States, but certainly about to bring California another round of heavy rain. This has really been drought-busting rain for them, so it's really great to see, actually, although they could do without the heavy amounts of rainfall in a short period of time, which has led to their flooding issues. Now, this system is one that we're going to be watching for the potential impact of perhaps some stronger storms around here on Sunday. But before then, we're going to watch this system, which moves off to the north and to the east, and this low-pressure area and frontal boundary approach the peninsula of Florida, bringing some possibly heavy storminess to North Florida, particularly, I think. Severe Storms Prediction Center puts a slight risk of severe storms for North Florida and part of the Big Bend over the course of the next 48 hours. High pressure will eventually have to give way. It'll be chipped away, actually, by these little frontal boundaries moving through. And then the next front, exiting out of the Rockies, redeveloping along the Gulf, and then drifting in our direction, promise us a chance at seeing some stronger storms for our area as we move into Sunday afternoon, I think. There's even the slight potential for some rotating storms and maybe isolated tornadoes, particularly in north central Florida's coastline. But we have to allow for the possibility that it may be for us as well. So we're going to have to monitor the storm system carefully as it evolves. Could well be that it's strictly a North Florida event, but it's too early to tell, and it does have potential to pose a risk for us here on the Suncoast Sunday, especially the second half of Sunday. Humidity rising this afternoon, dry skies, and then we watch those Sunday storms. Those are your weather highlights. Now, for Saturday, there's the severe storm risk. As you go beyond Saturday, certainly the forecasts become a little iffier, but the projected long-term forecast does slide that risk down the coast closer to us with about a 15 to 30% chance of severe weather for the Suncoast on Sunday. But certainly for the first half of the weekend, we look pretty good without too much of a thunderstorm risk as the first system kind of just fizzles out as it moves down the coastline. But then we wait for that second system, which will perhaps have a little bit more energy down into Gulf waters as it sinks southward. Too early to tell, but we'll keep an eye on it. Forecast for today looks nice. We have out on open waters, south wind coming in at 5 to 10. That starts us with smooth conditions, builds us to a light chop later this afternoon. And the forecast over the next several days, nice through, I'd say, Sunday morning. And then things will kind of deteriorate pretty rapidly Sunday afternoon into the evening and through Monday morning. We'll be keeping an eye on that very carefully, Scott.
All right, John, thank you so much. In health news today, former President George H.W. Bush and his wife Barbara are both in the hospital in Houston. Former president is in intensive care with pneumonia, and the former First Lady was admitted yesterday after experiencing fatigue and coughing. She was diagnosed with bronchitis. The couple is receiving well wishes from around the world, including President Obama, former President Bill Clinton, and President-elect Donald Trump. And speaking of Trump, Bush sent this letter to him saying he and Barbara will not be able to make his inauguration. He writes, quote, "My doctor says if I sit outside in January, it likely will put me 6 feet under. Same for Barbara." But he adds he will be there for him and the country in spirit. Potential progress in the fight against cancer and the elephants of the Ringling Barnum and Bailey Circus could hold the key. Researchers are using the animal's blood to show how a particular protein called P53 can help fight cancer cells in humans. They believe elephants never get cancer because of these extra copies of the cancer-fighting protein. And the doctors at Huntsman Cancer Institute in Utah have been testing this theory for years.
The elephants have had 55 million years of research and development to really design the perfect cancer-fighting protein. We say that cancer doesn't sleep, and neither should we.
While there's no guarantee this elephant protein will work in humans, scientists say they will continue working long hours to give it the best possible chance. Obamacare is being viewed favorably more than ever now. According to a new CNN poll, 49% say they favor the 2010 health care law or the Affordable Care Act, while 47% oppose it. This is the first time there has been a more favored than opposed view since its creation. The shift comes at the same time more than 8 in 10 say the law is likely to be repealed and replaced by incoming President Donald Trump. Well, sticking your baby with a needle is likely to make your baby cry, right? But some researchers say it can do just the opposite. Excessive crying is known as infantile colic, and a new study suggests acupuncture may reduce colicky crying when other treatments don't help. The study shows babies who receive the acupuncture appear to cry less after treatment than those who didn't receive acupuncture. But not all experts agree with this finding. Some say more evidence is needed to further verify the treatment. Other ways to treat excessive crying are soft sounds and rocking motions. To determine whether your baby has infantile colic, doctors recommend keeping a daily diary of how often your baby cries. A documentary is inspiring students and teachers to explore their full capabilities. John is with a special guest today to tell us more about it. John?
That's right. This is an amazing documentary, and the Education Foundation of Sarasota is hosting an exclusive screening of this Sundance documentary, Most Likely to Succeed, just next week. And joining us now is the president of the Education Foundation, Jennifer Vine. Thanks for coming in today. Sure do appreciate it. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
This documentary is fascinating. I actually did get to see it once before, and it really tells an interesting story. First of all, I had no idea that for most of the country, actually, the curriculum was structured and put into place over 100 years ago.
That's right. And you know, what's really interesting about this film that we were excited to showcase is that it talks about one particular school in California and a way they've taken a different approach. Project-based, student-centered, interdisciplinary. And so what we're trying to do is really use this documentary as a platform for us to ignite that conversation. How do we, as a local community, want to design education?
So even though this documentary was shot in California, it certainly has impacts here on the Sun Coast in terms of maybe some ideas, maybe some thoughts about where we could take our educational system.
Absolutely. And with the Education Foundation, we're very focused on exposing our students to innovative opportunities, whether it's inside the classroom or beyond the walls of the classroom. So this, again, just affords us the opportunity to have that conversation with the community at large.
And another great thing about this documentary is it's free of charge.
That's exactly right, because we want everyone who's interested, who has a voice, who has an interest, to come and be a part of the conversation. It's a documentary that's 90 minutes in length, but we want to afford the opportunity for Q&A and have that conversation.
And it is free of charge, but you do have to sign up to get your ticket.
Absolutely need to register in advance. We expect a sellout.
Okay, and how can people do that?
They can go on our website, so it's edfoundationsrq.org.
Just out of curiosity, where would you see a school system here in Sarasota 20 years from now? What would the school look like?
Well, that's a great question, and that's why we want to enable our students and prepare them to respond to the future in which we know right now is unknown. So just think about the companies that have sprouted up just in the past years. Amazon, Uber, PayPal. I mean, think about all of those that were never a part of our educational experience. So what are the new companies that will be formed in 20 years? And we want to make sure those students can respond. So we don't know what that future holds, but we want to prepare them for the inevitable.
Excellent. This documentary, by the way, was done by the same director that did the movie Mitt, which if you go on, about Mitt Romney, which if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, got over 80 tomatoes, which is pretty remarkable for a movie on Rotten Tomatoes. There's a full screen of where you can go to get the tickets and sign up for the tickets. Remember, reservations are required. Jennifer, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank
Please
you so much.
come back
Appreciate the
again and join us on the noon
Will
show.
do. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. California Pizza Kitchen teaches us how to toss dough like a pro. Plus the Rosemary Indie Market and Gold Rush Barbecue in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help.
And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
In sports news, former NFL star Aaron Hernandez is in court today for a pretrial hearing in his upcoming double murder trial. Hernandez is accused of killing two men he encountered at a Boston nightclub in 2012. He's already serving a life sentence in the 2013 killing of semi-professional football player Odin Lloyd. His trial is scheduled to begin next month. Happening tonight, starters for this year's NBA All-Star Game will be announced. Golden State Warriors center Zaza Pachulia is a surprise pick and remains the #2 vote getter of all Western Conference front court players. Stephen Curry leads in fan voting, which only makes up 50% of the vote this year. The rest comes from NBA players and the media. NBA head coaches' picks for the remaining players on each team will be announced next week. The All-Star game will be played February 19th at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. Special recognition from a Houston Rockets All-Star to one of his biggest fans. Before last night's game against the Milwaukee Bucks, James Harden took a moment to give a fan of his an autographed ball for her birthday. Doris Burke turned 100 years old and went to the game to celebrate. Harden says he told Burke how blessed he was to be able to have a chance to meet her. She even had a courtside seat, and the Houston Guard also put on a good show for Doris, scoring 38 points in the win over the Bucks. Let's get back to the kitchen now. John is with our guest today, the executive chef Jamil Pineda from Michael's on East. Guys?
Fantastic, and we're going to the south of France today. You have, of course, your worldly menus that you vary every month to celebrate a different cuisine of some different country, and coming up is France.
So we're coming up as France, and this we're getting together too with Selby Garden because it's having a great exhibition.
Their Big Chagall exhibit is coming up, that's right, and you have a special menu that you'll be preparing for that as well. In honor of the great artist.
And this actually recipe comes from their book. From the Chagall book, inspired from their the restaurant they have in France.
Ah, okay.
So right here we got actually
it's authentic.
It's authentic. So great. So we got some nice braised salmon. And we're gonna right here we got some nice fondant, what we call fondant potatoes. It's just we take some Yukon potatoes and we kind of like cook in oil for 40 minutes until they become nice and soft. And they start getting a little, and then we just sear them a little bit just to give them a little nice color to them.
So they're like poached in olive oil?
It's poached in olive oil.
Ah, okay.
And then we actually sear them with a little olive oil just to make them like that. We'll do that with the salmon right here. And then right here we got some braised red cabbage, which is from the book. It has pancetta, red wine, garlic, all the good stuff. And then we come up with this beautiful mushroom broth, which is kind of cool.
What kind of mushrooms do you use in that?
We use shiitake, morels, regular mushrooms, and porcini mushrooms.
So the porcini and the morels must give it that good woodiness, kind of
very woody smell. And it's going to be good with this actually very sweet stone ground mustard glaze. I can't
very traditionally French.
So very traditional French. Yeah. Then we got some right here, some curl carrots.
I'm down with that.
So it's going to be kind of cool. So right here, what I'm doing right now is basically getting this nice salmon nice and sear.
And how do you like to cook the salmon? Do you like to fry it up in a pan and then put it in an oven to follow?
Yeah, yes.
Is that what you normally would do?
That's what we usually normally do in the kitchen, so we can get it nice and fast. The cool thing about this salmon is that it's sushi graded, so therefore you can finish it a medium rare or medium rare if you like a lot of red salmon. And then like what I'm going to do right here, usually we use a nice brush.
Right on now.
So we're going to take that right there, and then we're just going to glaze him so he can finish cooking. And I'm going to do is like we got one cooking in the oven. We're going to play that with you very quick.
So that would go right into the oven at what temperature?
Right. Like right now, if you can see the oven, you got a 425.
For how long?
For about, I'd say 5 minutes if you want a medium rare.
Not long?
Not long. 6 minutes, 8 minutes to one medium well. So that's what it looked like.
Looks good. Looks really
good. So right
good.
here, we're going to take this right here. We're going to turn this off.
That's like a nice little crust that cooks down a bit, huh?
So we're going to take the potatoes. We're going to put one in here. It's like almost like you can put as many as you want. Then we're going to take some of this nice, beautiful cabbage. It has pancetta in there, so you can see, so you can see this very quick right here. And then we're going to take the mushroom broth. I mean, you can smell the mushrooms on this.
Oh, you really can.
It's very nice. So we're going to put it right in the middle, so it can look beautiful like that.
French know what they're doing when it comes to food.
Oh, when it comes to food, it's the best cuisine ever. So right here we have the salmon, and then we're going to take some curl carrots right on top of it. And this is the fun part right here, where you can, a lot of people see these flowers and microgreens. So now you look something like you're in the garden right here. And you got some beautiful microgreens.
Looks beautiful. And we have a final product over here for you to view. Now, this goes on the menu when?
It goes on the menu in February.
Okay, February 1st, you'll be able to
walk in, have a beautiful dinner.
And while you're visiting the Chagall exhibit at Selby Gardens, be sure and pop into the Michael's Restaurant there and enjoy some of their cuisine. Thanks so much for coming in today. Sure do appreciate it. Jamil, always good to have you in the kitchen. MySuncoast.com. Click on the dining link page. It'll take you right to the video instructions and the shopping list as well. We'll be right back.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office. And ask for Beth Ann Muley.
Just go do it. Go do it.
If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
Look, I'm not an ideologue. I am an originalist.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. A desperate search for survivors is underway in central Italy after an avalanche overnight buried a mountain hotel. At least 30 people are now missing. ABC's Lama Hassan has the latest from London.
From the air, helicopters scouring the scene looking for any sign of survivors. You can see the 4-star Rigopiano Hotel buried under a mound of snow. On the ground, some of the roads are impassable. Vital rescue equipment pushing through piles of snow. Overnight, the only way rescuers were able to reach the area was on skis. When they arrived, using shovels to break through a wall of snow. At least 2 people brought out to safety. This man is one of them. But the latest reports say 1 person has been pulled dead from the snow. Families desperately searching for their relatives. They are taking them to the hospital, this woman says. We just don't know. Others texting loved ones inside, urging them to stay calm. Inside the hotel, devastation. The sheer force of the avalanche blasting snow through the windows and doors. Rescuers searching for survivors saying they're calling out, but no one is answering. After days of heavy snowfall and at least 4 powerful earthquakes hitting central Italy on Wednesday, the avalanche struck overnight. At least 30 people are reported still missing. Lama Hassan, ABC News, London.
Also overseas, 30 firefighters are killed when a high-rise collapses in Iran. 75 more were hurt. Firefighters had battled this fire for several hours before the building just collapsed. Happening today here in the U.S., jury selection is beginning in the trial of a man accused of conspiring to detonate a bomb at a Key West beach. Jurors will be questioned in the trial of 25-year-old Harlem Suarez. Back in 2015, Suarez told an informant he wanted to detonate a backpack bomb at a beach. He was arrested after accepting a fake bomb from an FBI employee posing as an extremist. Prosecutors say Suarez was in the solidarity with the Islamic State militant group, or ISIS. Charges against him include use of a weapon of mass destruction and supporting terrorism. The man suspected of killing an Orlando police officer wants to defend himself in court. Markeith Lloyd had his first court hearing this morning in Orlando on charges of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend. His eye was bandaged from injuries he sustained during his arrest Tuesday night after a week-long manhunt and the death of Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. Lloyd telling the judge he plans to represent himself and said the charges against him were made up. The judge ordering him to be held without bond. In consumer news, 13 automakers are recalling more than 652,000 vehicles in the U.S. in the latest round of Takata airbag inflator recalls. Audi, Nissan, Jaguar Land Rover, Subaru, Daimler Vans, Tesla, Mitsubishi, BMW, Ferrari, Mercedes, Mazda, McLaren, and Karma all announcing recalls. Takata inflators can explode with too much force, blowing apart a metal canister and then sending shrapnel into the passenger compartment. 16 people have died across the world due to this problem. In total, it's the largest auto recall in U.S. history, affecting 69 million inflators and 42 million vehicles. Owners can go to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website to see if their vehicles are involved in this recall. 7-Eleven is getting into the breakfast movement with a new pizza. Their breakfast pizza has a biscuit crust topped with bacon, sausage, ham, scrambled eggs, cheese, and cream gravy. Pizza has become one of 7-Eleven's biggest ready-to-eat sellers, and mornings are the busiest time of the day in its stores, so the company thinks it will do well. So far, it's the store's second most popular pizza with its customers. Not exactly healthy, but
I gained 2 pounds just hearing you describe it. That puts you right back to sleep, I think, in the morning.
I know.
Well, we have a rocket launch tonight. It'll be kind of fun to see if we'll be able to see that. It looks like we will. It looks like the sky will cooperate nicely. It's a big Atlas V, so big boy rocket over there, so it should be kind of fun. Skies are beautiful out there at Lakewood Ranch, looking out toward the east there. You can see we don't have a whole lot in the way of heavier cloud cover, just a little bit of high cloudiness streaming by from time to time from shower and thunderstorm activity way out in the Gulf. All in all, we are in for an exquisite afternoon, I think. Humidities will be increasing a little bit over the next several days as showers and thunderstorms start to develop a more southerly flow for us. We have some big storms now moving through the Louisiana region, producing the same kind of heavy rainfall that Texas experienced just a couple days ago. Those showers gradually drifting toward the Panhandle, where they could actually produce some higher tides out there because of their strength, but I think they'll tend to dampen out before they reach us Saturday afternoon. But there's another system back behind it that could produce some rough weather for us on Sunday. So that's what we'll be watching. That's what we'll be talking about coming up in just a few, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. While President-elect Donald Trump prepares for his inauguration tomorrow on Capitol Hill, his cabinet nominees are facing tough questions before being confirmed. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the latest from Washington.
It's another busy day of confirmation hearings on Capitol Hill, starting with a familiar face.
And nothing but the truth.
Former Texas Governor Rick Perry in the spotlight, trying to prove he's the best man to lead the Energy Department, a science and technology powerhouse that deals with nuclear energy and weapons policy and also oversees the Iran deal. It's a department Perry once wanted to eliminate and infamously forgot during a 2011 presidential debate.
It's 3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone: commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? Let's see.
He now regrets that moment.
My past statements made over 5 years ago about abolishing the Department of Energy do not reflect my current thinking.
Perry would be one of the few non-scientists to run the agency, but not the first. Also grilled today, Steven Mnuchin, Mr. Trump's controversial pick for Treasury Secretary. The billionaire hedge fund manager and Goldman Sachs executive is being criticized for his role during the housing crisis and has been accused of rushing to foreclosure on homeowners. Mnuchin backs up those business dealings.
I have been maligned as taking advantage of others' hardship in order to earn a buck. Nothing could be further than the truth.
No votes are scheduled yet, but the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell suggests just 3 of the 15 cabinet nominees will go through Friday. General Mattis for Defense, Congressman Pompeo for the CIA, and General Kelly for Department of Homeland Security. 3 critical to national security and less controversial. If all of Mr. Trump's nominees are confirmed, his cabinet will have 3 women, 1 African American, an Asian and Indian American, but no Latino in any role and no Democrat. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
It's President Obama's last full day as commander-in-chief, and he plans on issuing more commutations and pardons today. The White House says this last batch would focus on nonviolent drug offenders serving long prison sentences. He's already issued hundreds earlier this week, including the sentence for Chelsea Manning, a transgender woman who served in the U.S. Army as Bradley Manning. Here at home, descendants of a South Carolina congressman will have their relative recognized in an upcoming exhibit. Congressman Robert Smalls escaped slavery and joined the Union Army in the Civil War. He later was elected to the South Carolina legislature and the United States Congress. He submitted legislation that created the first public schools in the state. One of Small's descendants lives in Sarasota. His traveling exhibit will be at the North Sarasota Public Library starting February 1st, which is also the beginning of Black History Month. The exhibit will be free and open to the public. Up next, we'll check in again with John, who'll have details on our weather, including the upcoming weekend, plus what tasty advice one woman is offering for living such a long life. Her story when we come back.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Being a caregiver at Granny Nanny's, there's nothing else like it.
When you build that relationship and form that bond, it's rewarding.
It feels wonderful. You feel like you're part of the family.
And every patient I meet becomes part of my family.
I love my job. It's who I am and it's what I do. It's about giving them the quality of life they deserve.
It's bringing loving care to home care.
I am Granny Nanny's.
I am Granny Nanny's.
I am Granny Nanny's.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
It may be January, but we live in Florida. So head outdoors for seafood and music at the 2nd Annual Sarasota Seafood and Music Festival, happening Saturday and Sunday, January 21st and 22nd from 10 to 6 p.m. Savor mouth-watering Florida Gulf Coast seafood dishes by top restaurants and chefs, while you enjoy great live music from some of Florida's top musical groups. So grab your family and friends at the Sarasota Seafood and Music Festival, January 21st and 22nd. For more information, visit seafoodfestivals.com.
Get the new year off to a great start with safety and peace of mind. Subaru offers more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And Subaru had the best resale value of all brands for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Forester for just $209 a month or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s. Don't miss the Luxury by the Bay event, Saturday, January 21st from noon till 4 p.m. at Harbor Isle. Water ski show, luxury cars, wine tasting, model home tours, and more.
Will kind of sound like a broken record, but another global temperature record has been broken. Officially, the World Meteorological Organization came out yesterday with what was suspected for about a month now, and that is that 2016 was the warmest global temperature on record. This is a map from 1880 showing the temperatures every year. And watch, as temperatures are fairly uniform until about the last 30 years. Then watch what happens to the colors. They go from blue to red. showing an increase in temperature of about 1.78 degrees. That due mostly because, at least last year, because of the increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Well, not just last year, but since the turn of the century, actually, since the Industrial Revolution. But last year, an El Nino kind of added a little bit to the mix. But the CO2 in the atmosphere has increased by about 30% since the Industrial Revolution, so the trend toward warmer temperatures will undoubtedly continue. Currently, we have a temperature of 75 degrees with a dew point of 57. Southwest wind continues to push the moisture our way. High pressure, though, and the kind of compressional effect of high pressure has lowered our dew points just a little bit, but we'll see those dew point numbers climb this afternoon. 77 in Parrish, Mayaca City, 78 in Arcadia, 77 in Punta Gorda, 75 in Northport, 72 in Venice, 78 degrees at Longboat Key. A little bit of high cloudiness from shower and thunderstorm activity back to the west caused by a low pressure area and frontal boundary approaching the Panhandle and producing that high cloudiness over the Suncoast, but most particularly over North Florida. That's all part of a system wrapping up and moving off to the north and to the east. Another system moving out of the west coast is now entering into the higher elevations, and a third system is just about to make it onshore, producing more mountain snows down the road. As far as the forecast goes for us, we'll watch this system as it pulls away to the north and to the east and produces this cold front that will eventually bring us a little bit of rainfall to the Panhandle of Florida starting tomorrow and going through Saturday. Some of those storms could be strong. Then a secondary front back to the west will be approaching on Sunday, and that one could produce severe weather for us. So we watch the humidity rising, we watch dry skies today, and then we'll watch on Sunday for more storms to arrive on the Suncoast, and some of those could be strong storms. Okay, here you are, the inauguration weather forecast for today. Folks flying in will enjoy some pleasant weather under partly sunny skies. They'll have a daytime high temperature running significantly above average by more than about 12, 13 degrees. Tomorrow, it's a good bet of some rainfall, perhaps heavy at times. And then on Saturday, the sun comes out again with the daytime high very warm. Again, we're running about 15 degrees above average on Saturday. Sunday, things start clouding up and getting rainy once again. That's in Washington, D.C. For today, south wind at about 5 to 10 knots increases a smooth sea to a light chop later on tonight with 2-foot seas. And the forecast calls for daytime highs above average right straight through the weekend. A frontal boundary approaches Sunday. That brings us a chance of early showers and perhaps some afternoon and evening thunderstorms that could approach severe limits. And then we'll watch for slightly cooler weather to start next work week. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. A woman in Illinois has just celebrated her 109th birthday. And she says her recipe for a long life is potatoes, bacon, and kraut. Lacey Clifton has her story.
Ruth Benjamin is surrounded by friends and family for a very special occasion, her 109th birthday.
I've been happy. That means a lot. And I never smoked a cigarette in my life. I never drank liquor in my life. And I had one husband for 43 years.
Ruth was born in 1908. She was a twin and one of her parents' 6 children. Later in life, she worked at Quaker Maid in Terre Haute for 43 years. And while her life may be more quiet now, she used to always be on the go.
I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been to Niagara Falls. I've been about everywhere.
Dr. Jim Turner of the Cork Medical Center is Ruth's doctor. For having a 109-year-old patient, you'd think he'd have a long list of doctor's orders.
What do you do with someone who's 109 years old? And my answer was absolutely nothing. You know, we don't need to do anything. She obviously has a wonderful cardiovascular system, wonderful immune system, and in someone like Ruth, less is best.
Now, as for a key to Ruth's long life, Dr. Turner attributes that to her attitude.
Hard work, a loving family, a wonderful marriage. And as you saw, she never drank, she never smoked, but she was happy. And I think that was the key to her longevity.
But if you ask Ruth's opinion on her secret to success,
I have potatoes some way every day.
Okay.
And I love kraut.
Kraut. Okay.
Kraut.
Okay. Well, we better start eating more potatoes and kraut.
Yes, and I love bacon.
Good for her. I hope she keeps on going. Former Beatles member is looking to get his music back. We'll tell you why. Plus, how one Hollywood star is recreating his evening of drunken madness in London. Those stories coming up in entertainment news.
Man, he used to hang out with us. Yeah, and then he just stopped. I hope he's gonna be okay.
1 in 5 of us has a mental health condition, but emotional pain can be hard to spot and harder to talk about. Learn the 5 signs of emotional suffering. If you see 1 or more signs in someone you care about, reach out, connect, and offer to help.
Megan, come sit with us.
And
our answers for questions.
Visit changedirection.org.
Top Dog 2017, benefiting Dante's Den, is the Carnival of Dogs. Join us at the Francis for an evening of great food and fun as dogs compete for the title of Top Dog. Grab your pooch and head out to Top Dog, Saturday, February 4th at 6 p.m.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried, Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Wouldn't it be great if you had a sofa covered in fabric that's kid-proof? Now you can! Introducing Kid-Proof by Row, now at Bacon's Furniture. For a limited time only, save 40% off Kids-Proof sofas at Bacon. Just look for the little green hand and select from hundreds of different fabrics that resist almost anything life throws at it. Some fabrics repel liquid, and all the amazing styles and comfortable fabrics are easy to clean. Kid-Proof sofas, now 40% off at Bacon's Furniture in Sarasota.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Paul McCartney is looking to get his music back. The music superstar filing a lawsuit against Sony over copyright ownership of the many hit songs he wrote with John Lennon as part of the Beatles. The copyrights were bought by Michael Jackson and then later sold to the company after his death. According to the filing, McCartney will claim his songs back under a provision of U.S. copyright law that makes that possible after a certain time starting in 2018. Sony is calling the lawsuit unnecessary and premature. Sam Moore of the soul duo Sam and Dave has been added to the list of performers for President-elect Donald Trump's inaugural events. The 81-year-old Moore said he was not going to be intimidated by critics who forced some other entertainers to drop out. And the organizers of the Women's March on Washington, scheduled for the day after the inauguration, announced their list of entertainers. Headliners who will perform include Janelle Monáe, Maxwell, KT Tunstall, Questlove, and the Indigo Girls. Ellen DeGeneres making history last night at the People's Choice Awards by becoming the winningest entertainer in the show's history. She won for favorite daytime TV host, favorite animated movie voice, and favorite comedic collaboration. Finding Dory also won for favorite movie and favorite family movie. Overall, she's won a total of 20 awards. Other winners include Blake Shelton, Blake Lively, Melissa McCarthy, Robert Downey Jr., and Sofia Vergara. Actor and director Woody Harrelson is looking to make history by shooting a movie in a single take and airing it live. Lost in London is inspired by a night 15 years ago, which began with Harrelson leaving a nightclub. He then gets involved in a car chase and was arrested for damaging a London taxi cab.
We got 30 actors, we got 14 locations, we got 4 cars, you know, so we're getting in and out of vehicles, and you know, it just seems it's monumental.
Shooting takes place between 2 and 4 a.m. London time. It will be shown live at the Hollywood 20 in Sarasota beginning tonight at 9 o'clock. Tickets are $20. A pretty unusual concept, don't you think?
Yeah, a one-shot movie.
Yeah, so whatever happens, happens.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, you go to La La Land, and the first shot is, like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and that's in one shot. And that must have taken, I don't know how many shots did you get it right. And here he's going to do it. Well, I guess it's a full-length movie, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And he's going to do it in one take. That's pretty amazing.
I'm sure it looks like they've been rehearsing quite a bit, but you know, with action sequences, you never know what might happen.
I would love to go. Unfortunately, way past my bedtime.
I know.
Yeah,
and
be fun.
Yeah, and a nice day ahead.
Beautiful night. Remember, the Atlas V goes up at 7, I believe, 46. So look off toward the east.
All right, we will. Have a wonderful day ahead. See you again at 5.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.